This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Hello and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Scarif Live. We got a doozy of a show for you tonight, and we're very excited for it. As always, I got the scuttle to my butt. Ro is with me as always. How you doing, Ro? You excited about tonight's episode?
Absolutely, Brad. You ain't kidding, man. You know, trade federation and taxation of interstellar trade routes has always been a topic that is close to my heart. I mean, tonight is going to be fantastic, very interesting stuff. Tariffs and blockades are certainly a hot topic. I would say that once we
hold the phone, Ro.
What the hell?
We're having a bit of a technical issue on the stream.
What is going on, man? You know, we always said that it was always a safe station on Scarif, nice and peaceful, but I'm looking at my screen here.
What in blazes?
I'm getting interference here on my main screen. All scopes are dead. What is going on, Brad?
A communications disruption can mean only one thing.
The takeover.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm at InvestInChis on Twitter.
Hi, I'm Nicole at Peace Love Star Wars on Twitter.
What in blazes is happening here? What? This can, hey, who's this?
Who's that?
Yeah, who are you, dude?
Who's who? Me? Eubank.
That's not Blue Spotch guy, see?
Who?
Oh, sorry.
Spock?
You're not Boba. Never mind.
No, it's just me, Chuck Eubanks. Catch me on the tweets at the Chuck Eubanks. Always. That's a scoop. You can take it to the bank. The scoop bank.
What is going on here? Who are you people?
We know who we are, but do you know who you are?
You know what? I don't know who I am, but first of all, let me thank all of you guys for joining us on this very special edition of Scarif Live. It's called The Takeover for one reason and one reason over. You guys, our wonderful listeners and fans and followers on Twitter, have taken over the channel, and looks like you've made yourselves pretty comfortable here at the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast.
Indeed.
Some more than others.
It's cold in here, guys.
Well, this is a very special night, Mr. Eubanks. Thank you very much for joining us.
I didn't even know I was joining you. I was scrolling along here. Is this the scam if Skittlebutt? And hearing
No Skittles
so
here.
much about.
That is correct. We are one of many.
Well, then I'm in the right place, among friends.
Often duplicated, never imitated, the Scarif
Afternoon.
Scam butt scuttle skits, something like that, right?
Can we send him to Hoth? Slingshot him?
It feels like hot in
Really
here.
get him cold.
My roommate's got the AC on like crazy in here. I'm trying to freeze me out. But I'm warming up quick, if you know what I mean. Ro knows. Ro knows what I mean.
He's warming up real good. Mr. Charles Westcott.
Call me Chuck LeBerry.
Chuck LeBerry, how's it going? You know, it's come to my attention that you're got a little drinking problem there, I think.
No. I don't drink until afternoon.
It's afternoon somewhere.
Until I go to sleep, and that's it. So,
Gotcha.
And then after I wake up, and that's it. That's where I cut it off.
Very nice.
What is
So,
that?
how is everybody doing tonight?
Other than wanting to send Eubanks there to Hoth, I'm doing pretty good. You know, got
Excellent.
Grogu with me who might like force him all the way there.
And
Just
speaking
saying.
of, yeah, definitely. Little guy is looking over your shoulder. He seems like he's your guardian angel tonight, and I think you're gonna need him. I think you're definitely gonna need him tonight.
We need all the help we can get.
Absolutely. Ashley, how you doing tonight? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm here in Texas, so opposite of Hoth, pretty much all the time.
Awesome. We got some really great puns in the chat by none other than our Red Fiver, Mr. Charles Westcott of Conversations.
Oh, great.
So
great.
You might,
It's on now.
Just when you think everything's going smoothly. Get the legal team in here.
Stat. So, guys, I wanted to, again, just thank everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for make sure that your camera is working there, Mr. Eubanks. Don't smell it. Don't smell that finger.
No, thanks.
You felt it. I just smelled it. Fart joke number 1.
So while he's taking another sip, anybody reading anything interesting lately?
Well, I've been busy reading of the High Republic.
Very nice. I see that Mr. Charles
You
Soule
must
is
live in Colorado.
No.
Right?
But I see that Mr. Charles Soule is enjoying the top, the New York #1 seller, and there you go. Oops, upside down.
Well,
That's
I had to like.
Wait a minute. Who's
Yeah,
drinking?
well,
Good
Mr.
one.
Eubanks
That's a
only
good
read
one.
it this way.
Yeah,
So I had to. So, but for everybody else, minus Eubanks there we go. Look how beautiful now. Oh yeah, loving the High Republic. This is really awesome. Ashley, have you been reading the High Republic?
I actually devoured Light of the Jedi in a couple days, and
Girl.
I read the middle novel, like young adult novel, A Test of Courage as well, and then the first comic that came out a couple weeks ago. So I'm really into the High Republic at the moment.
Me too. I'm actually starting the one by Justina Ireland next week.
Yes. So
Eubanks just reads them upside down.
Is this a spoiler-free show, or can we go into details here?
They all die at the end. Spoiler alert.
I think we can talk spoilers. It's been out for a while. If you haven't picked it up, if you haven't picked it up by now, you probably won't. So I think we're safe.
Okay. How far are you, Nicole?
I'm cool. I'm awesome. Spoil away, talk away. I'm all good.
Okay.
I, of course, got the early releases, so talk away. I've read them all.
So where are you at in the story right now, Nicole?
I am almost done, so I don't mind.
Okay, cool.
Justina Ireland one, I start next week.
All right, yeah. Well, then I won't say anything about that one. Except I just want to, like, a general comment. They did such an amazing job connecting all of the stories together, as well as making connections to other eras in Star Wars. So that's been really exciting to see. And even like I noticed like a High Republic reference in the latest Dr. Aphra comic from like a week ago. It's just kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. I already knew from before. I was like excited about Avar Kriss, and now I just love her. I'm like, yes, she's awesome. Can't wait to cosplay her. Although, you know what I'm looking forward to, you guys, when Comic-Cons really come back,
Sure.
is seeing people like dress up like the new villains, you know, the Nihil Hills, like dressed up. That's like really steampunk. So
It
I
is,
can
yeah.
see people rocking that. Hey, maybe somebody will show up to ScarifCon like that. That would be awesome, right, Ro?
That would be fantastic. And I think I talked to Brad about the Nile, and I think I mentioned. I think next week we are releasing one of our episodes called, it's another version of our Tatooine hot takes, but we talked a little bit about the High Republic in that episode, and they remind me of the Peaky Blinders of the galaxy far, far away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting. I'm listening to the book now because I get distracted when I read. A lot of times I'll read something and then I don't know, my mind starts to go elsewhere. So I do a lot of driving at work. So I pop on Audible and I listen to it. And obviously Mark Thompson is fantastic at what he does. You know, carrying all the characters all at once, and it's really fantastic. I think we lost Mr. Eubanks in favor of someone else. Let's see who we got here.
I think so. Either that or he
there you
passed
go.
out.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
Yeah, I think
Oh, no
Eubank
problem.
passed out.
I think he did.
Oh no, did he show up?
Yeah, jeez.
Oh
No
no.
more spotchka for him. Seriously, he can't handle.
Yeah, so yeah, we're sitting here talking about the High Republic. Thank you very much,
Awesome.
Cam, for joining us.
Yeah. Again, sorry I'm late. I had a little, nature called, if you know what I mean. So sorry.
But yeah, all the voices that Mr. Mark Thompson does in the High Republic, it's almost like listening to a little audio drama. So it's really cool. You got a little music every so often, but I don't know exactly where I'm at in the book. I might be, I don't know, almost halfway through. But yeah, it's interesting. You know, we talked about the fact that a lot of people want like brand new Star Wars, and here it is. I'm having a little trouble like memorizing all the new characters' names. Obviously, the ones that are familiar sounding, like Chris, are easy to remember. But I think Mark Thompson really has a great way of kind of, I don't know, embedding certain images in your mind to kind of help you out. Cam, are you reading High Republic?
Yeah, I've read them. I'm caught up. I tried the other day, called around all the bookstores because I saw some were putting out Into the Dark, because I've caught up on the 3 that are out, and of course they're kind of in a smaller area, and so they didn't have them yet. So I have it pre-ordered on Amazon on Kindle, so I'll read it on Tuesday. But yeah, I'm caught up. I'm loving it.
Good. What again, I mentioned it on a previous show. The beginning of that story, I mean, really packed a big punch there. Very dramatic. Can you guys talk what? And I know Ashley, you said you finished it, but what are some of the things that you really enjoy about this story going forward?
Sure. Yeah. So I would say the book up until the Great Disaster is just a countdown. And so they're very short chapters too. So I think part of the effect there is you feel like time is moving quickly. So it's just a couple pages each time. And then it goes back and forth between different people trying to figure out how to save like trillions of people who are going to be affected by debris that has come up from a ship that exploded in hyperspace, and they're not sure how. So that part of the book is really distinct, I think, from the second half, or probably more than half actually, after the Great Disaster, where we get more into the Nile. I think one of the things I really appreciated, and I can't remember if it probably came in the second sort of part. They're both parts actually, but they're pretty in-depth discussions about how hyperspace works. There's a lot of discussion, because it's not just because how could this great disaster happen, because it doesn't make sense, but it's also because the bad guys, the Nile, and their leader, Markian Ro, are like, they have this special way of going through hyperspace that we haven't seen before. So I thought that was really cool. I like how we get lots of different perspectives from different types of characters, right? So we get from the perspective of different Jedi, and then different members of the Nile, and the Chancellor, and that one guy who like puts all the droids together to I can't remember his name, but So that, I mean, I think what I like about it is it totally feels like Star Wars, but then part of it really, some ways it doesn't. Like, it really feels different. The Jedi are very different. I know that's said like all the time, but they all have very strong personalities, really, unique personalities. They're pretty distinctive from one another. So yeah, and the end of the book ends in a cool way. So the book makes you wish that the next installment were available immediately, because it's just like, such a cliffhanger. But yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Brad and I are discussing. I think we're prepping a show on hyperspace, and it is definitely an interesting way of looking at it. When it was first announced, or when the characters were first talking about it, I was like just going back and trying to figure out. I'm like, wait a minute. Is this how hyperspace is seen traditionally? And one of the things that I was hoping is that sometimes I wish that Star Wars did science like Star Trek does science. I think for me, the Star Trek science obviously is based on like real science, where Star Wars, you push a button and you kind of hope and fill in the gaps in your mind. But
sure.
Nicole, what were some of the things that you enjoyed about the story going when you first started it?
So I'm going to agree with Ashley. Actually, I really did like all the different perspectives with the countdown. That was awesome, because like you would go from one perspective to another, and you were getting to know these new Jedi. And I loved that. And you were also seeing how they interacted with each other, which was so amazing, because it's like we were getting to know them and see how one Jedi Master and Apprentice works in comparison to the next set and to the next set. And I'm absolutely loving it. And again, I'm loving even the new villains. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's true. I think it's really different. It's new. I love it. It's very creative. So I'm like you. I can't wait until next week when Claudia Gray's book comes out, although I will probably wait. I need to get started on Justina's next, but I'm looking forward to all of the new content coming out. It is just so good. So I'm curious for people in the chat room, though, maybe one of their favorite new characters are Jedi. I'd love to hear it, because I know I personally love Eva Chris, and I can't pronounce it right, probably Bjorn. Can anybody help me here? The Wookiee.
Oh, the Wookiee?
I love Wookiees. So,
Uraga, maybe something like that. I don't know. It's a very
Agaberry.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Pam.
No problem.
I should have went to the teacher.
You know what I love is when it threw me off for half a second, but when the Wookiee started to do its growl, and all of a sudden he turns it into English. That was a little jarring at first, but I'm like, oh, that's kind of a cool way of doing it in audio form. And the Jedi seem very like powerful or almost godlike. I know Brad mentioned it in a previous episode, but it really it does. Ashley, you said it. Sometimes it feels like Star Wars, in other ways it doesn't. But it really, you kind of get thrown into this new realm, this new era of Star Wars that, like you said, it feels different, but it kind of feels Star Warsy. But that, I guess, that's the purpose of introducing this new storyline to us fans. So, Cam, what about you? What are you thinking about? What's your perspective on the High Republic?
Well, I'm loving it. I love everything Star Wars, but I was excited about this, but then of course I wasn't sure, what to expect, because it's kind of like one of those things, like I think like Harry Potter. You're used to J.K. Rowling. It's like, oh, this is great, and then it's like if you're like, oh, here's some new stuff that's a few hundred years before Harry Potter, and it's kind of in the same. I would be kind of like, maybe, but it's got to be up to that level. And so I wasn't quite sure, but then I knew the authors that were involved are all awesome. And so I was excited about it. But now that I've read it, oh my gosh, I love it. I think, and like the Nile, I think they're probably the Jedi and the Nile are my two favorite parts, because the Nile, I was kind of like, how are you going to beat a Palpatine? Or, they said you're not going to have the Sith really present, or at least at first. I think they're going to come into play at some point. And I think Marchion Ro has something to do with that. But like, I was kind of like, they're just pirates, they're wearing scary masks, but it's like, they don't really have the Force and all of this. But then just the way the Light of the Jedi was written, like by the time you get to the end, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, I love them. It's like, okay, I'm on board. They are a force to be reckoned with. He's like pure evil, which I love. I want the villain to be just like this guy. It doesn't, at first with him, I was like, this guy's weak, he's just kind of.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Me too.
They seem like they wanted to go that extra mile, but they were kind of holding back.
Yeah. And it was almost like, I think, I don't know why, but I kind of thought of him kind of like the, who's the nephew in Dirty Dancing, who's like owns the Kellerman's, but he's kind of like, kind of a chotch, and it's kind of like, okay, he's like, I'm in charge, man. But it's like, you're not really, but then by the time you get to the end, you're like, oh man, this dude he's bad. And he's kind of that master manipulator. So I love that. And then with the Jedi, kind of like you guys are saying, I don't know. I think it's awesome because we've only seen the Jedi when they're either, kind of like they've just given into the politics and all of that mess. And they've kind of, I don't know what the word is, just mixed their beliefs with the political beliefs, and they're on the downward spiral. But that's what we've always known about the Jedi, is either, the few that are left, or, as the fall of the Jedi, I guess. And so now this is so awesome getting to see them in their prime. And like we said, it's all these different, powers that they have, or seeing the Force being used in ways that I just feel like it's more pure than the ones that we've seen in the past. So it's exciting, and just to kind of see where it goes and how they're all working together. And they're like, I don't know. I'm loving it so far.
So we just dropped an episode yesterday, What the Force, and that was a question that we asked on the episode. What is your favorite Force power, either traditionally or anything that we've seen new, whether it's in the the Mandalorian or the sequel trilogy, or even the High Republic? I know Brad had mentioned how one of the Jedi almost senses the Force as a song, like a universal song. What do you guys love? Yes, what's her name? Something Chris?
Avar Chris. The one I'm like eventually going to cosplay, because I've got the blonde hair to sport it. It's happening.
There you go.
Yeah, she's awesome. And I loved the song thing, just it's such a great way of a great analogy of it. And that they're all talking together, or the way they each see the Force is a different, in a different way. I think it's pretty cool.
Any other Force powers that you guys notice that is being used in a new way?
So what Avar Chris does during the Great Disaster, where she's kind of connecting everyone's, all the Jedi's minds together, and she can kind of give suggestions and stuff, and they were all working together, right? And it reminded me of battle meditation. It reminded me of Bastila, Sean, in a video, Knights of the Old Republic. She had something called battle meditation, which of course this is not not canon, but I suspect they're kind of similar, or that's what I was picturing, right? So that character can kind of coordinate things when you're in a fight. This was much larger than that. So I think, Ro, you pointed out earlier, the Jedi of this era are really, really powerful. So she's able to do this across, across time, space, huge distances. Some of the Jedi died during, from the effort of trying to prevent different things happening. So for sure, I noticed that. And the other thing that I thought was kind of cool, there's a character called Elzar Mann, I think. And he has a really like sort of unique take on the Force that I don't think we've seen, because he's always trying to figure out like weird ways to use it, or, you know, different ways that no one has ever thought of before. And in fact, like for that reason, he hasn't been made a Jedi Master yet, or maybe I think he is by the end or end of one of the books. I might be mixing books up now, but yeah, he's always investigating new things, and he's really like trying to solve like you know, explore aspects of the Force that have never been explored before. So I kind of liked that, and I'd be really interested to see what kinds of things he discovers and what kinds of things they can come up with that are really unique.
One thing I thought that was cool with the Jedi is that they're not as scared to, like you're saying, like explore these different, like they're each different, and it's not as strict. It's almost like the way we see them in the prequels. It's so like, oh, you can't have attachment, this and that. And while they still have that, they've already shown like certain Jedi have attachments to each other, or they're in love or whatever, and they're like in what is it, the Test of Courage, there's a part where not really a spoiler, but just kind of where one of them's encouraged to kind of like, okay, you're struggling with something, and he thinks he's like, okay, I'm done now, I'm not gonna be a Jedi anymore type thing. It's like, no, it's like, that's okay. It's like, these are your feelings. You know, it's what you do with them. And there's a lot more like free flow, and like, hey, we're each unique and all. And once we get to the prequels, everybody's like, you know, oh, you said something wrong, you know, you're
Yeah.
slap on the hand. And also I like that even though Yoda's, I don't know, they kind of, not that they downplay Yoda, but like Yoda's always been like the cream of the crop. And now it's like, oh wait, you know, maybe he's not.
That's true.
Sorry,
He's
everybody.
barely in it so far.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like kind of a background character.
Yeah. So
I wanted to ask you guys, you know, we're talking about the Force, we're talking about individuality. Again, thank you guys for joining us on the special edition of Scarif Live. I'm going to go around the room and ask you guys to be a little inward and spiritual, and give me one word that would describe you in the grand scheme of the universe. And it doesn't have to be fictional. I just saw this really amazing show directed by Frank Oz called In and of Itself. If you guys check it out, it's on Hulu, but it has to do with relationships and ourselves. And I wanted to kind of get a little moment going here with you guys. So I'm going to start with Ashley. Just give me one word that describes you in the universe.
I would say curious, because I'm always trying to learn new things, and I'm a teacher. So, you know, I learn for myself, but also learn to pass on knowledge. So one of the things I love about Star Wars, it's like never ending. There's so many things to learn. So yeah, just curiosity, or I guess curious.
That is wonderful. I love that. Nicole, how about you?
If silver linings wasn't 2 words, I'd say silver linings, but I'd say positive. I'm always every day trying to find silver lining every day. So I'm always trying to push that back out, you know, just amongst like Star Wars community and amongst even my own home is positivity, you know, makes the world a better place.
That's beautiful. It's wonderful. And for tonight, silver lining will be one word. And
then it's silver lining.
Silver lining. And Cam, what about you?
I'd probably, since we're using 2 words, say most humble, I think. No, just kidding. Just humble. No, not humble. I guess I'd say optimistic, I guess. Not that I'm always optimistic, but and it's kind of like Nicole saying, just, you know, it's like, man, life's too short. Let's enjoy life. You know, I don't want to say silly because that sounds like, but I like to just enjoy life and like enjoy meeting people and talking to people. And I don't know, that's like a big soapbox of mine. It's like, why can't we all just get along? You know, it's because you can always find something that you have in common or that you can appreciate or learn from someone. So I think optimistic would be the word.
That's fantastic. And we have a lot in common, and we try to, even on our podcast, we try to, stay positive. I know we have, everybody's got opinions. But we try to, we coined this hashtag a while ago, enjoy Star Wars responsibly. And, I hope we are doing that. But having you guys on talking about what we love, all these years later is part of it. I wonder what Mr. Chuck Eubanks would say about his one-word description. But I think he passed out. It's probably just Z's. So
Yeah, I think he passed out.
yeah. Let me ask you this. You guys obviously were here because we love Star Wars. What about your favorite characters? What are your favorite characters in Star Wars overall, and why? Is it something that you relate to? Is it something that I know Nicole is looking at the little child behind her? But Cam, who's your favorite character and why?
Darth Vader's my favorite, just because as a kid he was my favorite, and so it's always been there. It's one of my first vivid memories of the trilogy, and I've always just loved him. I think because of his redemption, just thinking of him just I'm thinking original trilogy, before all that other stuff, but just because he's so bad and it's like, oh, this guy's awful, but then you see he's got a son and he's got a daughter, and then I think that really resonated with me. And I remember as a kid, my favorite part of everything was when his mask was removed and it was Bernie Sanders. I thought that was awesome. No, but just when it was removed and he's kind of like, I think because it was, as a kid, you're like, oh, that's so cool that his dad, because it makes you hurt. It's like to think that someone's dad, would turn on them or turn away or become evil. And the fact that he came back and kind of, it was because of Luke, I just thought that was awesome. So Darth Vader, I'm not lying, Adam. Oh my gosh. God, yeah, I didn't even know he was on here. Don't look at the comments. The comments are always negative.
Always wrong. Those are alternative facts.
Yeah.
But I want to echo Darth Vader, because Darth Vader also is my favorite character of all fiction. I think at an early age, obviously when he blasts through that door and you see him for the first time, it's it's something to it's jaw-dropping. And obviously, like you said, without knowing all that other stuff, just visually he's stunning. He looks great in leather.
Yeah, no, he does. Similar to me, and I just love that scene. It's like even now it gives you chills, so.
Ashley, what about you?
Well, I'm going to mention two, if that's all right. I mean, I'm sure we all have multiple, so many characters that we love, but the first, so I grew up with the prequels. So those all happened during my adolescence and early adulthood. And so that combined with the Clone Wars really, I have to say Anakin, because you see, so also Darth Vader, right? But seeing how Darth Vader came to be, and really actually seeing all of the things, particularly in Clone Wars, that Anakin went through, I'm thinking of there's so many good Clone Wars arcs where you can see some growth. Anytime he does anything slightly bad, there's the Imperial March lightly, coming in the background. But it totally changed how I saw Darth Vader, right? Because I was a kid. When I first saw Star Wars, I was really young, I was 8 or 9, and Darth Vader's just scary, really scary, and then it's oh no, it's this dude, this really young guy who struggled with things that most of us struggle with. So Anakin on the one hand, and then my other one has to be Thrawn. The very first Star Wars book I read was I read the original Thrawn trilogy, and so I was immediately taken with Thrawn because he's so, analytical. He's so methodical. He's, his ability to analyze art and understand culture. And he's just he's a badass in a different way. Right. and I was really happy that he's now in, you know, canon. And I was so pumped when in The Mandalorian, Ahsoka's like, where is your leader? You know, I was like, oh my God, you know. I really appreciate Thrawn too. So those are my top two for sure.
You know, that's one of the things that I'm very excited about, the fact that we have Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau kind of spearheading the small screen Star Wars, is you never know what you're going to get. You know, we know what we got.
You know,
We're
you never know.
surprised. We never know. So I'm really looking forward to the next
That's all you
season
can
of
do
The
is try.
Mandalorian.
Same.
Mr. Eubanks, we're talking about our favorite Star Wars characters.
Are you talking about like Mandalorian or
Star Wars, all encompassing.
Clone Rebels?
Clone Rebels.
Oh, Mr. Eubanks.
Well, there are so characters that I've talked about. I think I need a nap.
Are you still out? I think you're still out.
I think my favorite character would have to be what's his name?
The guy. That guy.
He's a pirate. Oh, the pirate guy. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp.
Yes. I was going to say.
Jack Sparrow.
Jack.
He's my favorite.
Jack Vader.
Jack Vader. That's it. Jack Vader. Yeah. But what did I say? What did I say? Bluebird?
Jack Vader.
Sparrow.
Oh, yeah.
Boba Skywalker. There it is. If you call, I was on another one of those podcasts on the Ray 5 network a while back. I will never do that again. Those guys, I still haven't gotten paid. But the Boba Fett is the Jedi at the end of The Mandalorian. And I revealed it on their show. They didn't believe a word I said for some reason. So I'll never go back or give them my business again.
I think I remember that part.
Here's my question for you. Talk amongst yourselves. Why do we're talking about relationships, right? Raw. And we always put people together like Ray and Poe and Finn and BB-8. But why don't we ever ship just the droids? Have you ever heard of that? Like, why don't the droids? They're people too. And it really gets under my turtleneck, to tell you the truth.
It's true.
You know, I hadn't thought of that, but who would you ship then?
I've never thought about that before. Well, I don't know. That's kind of silly. They're robots.
Very
Probably, I'd say K2SO and the other sassy one from the other one.
G2.
With the bottom. What's on that one? Who?
BB?
The one from the Han movie. Han Jones. What was it?
L. Falcon.
Yeah, that's one. Yep. Yeah. L3PO and K2SO. I'd ship them together, and
they would have beautiful babies.
They would. That's not possible.
Well, we can't forget Nicole and your favorite characters and why. Who do you relate to? Is there any character that really kind of strikes your fancy?
So I have a hard time picking just one because, like, if it's the newest one, well, obviously Grogu. But I mean, because I love Darth Vader, he's one of my favorite Siths. Wow. You know, he's one of my favorite Sith lords.
lot
but
of love for Vader.
yes, but then there's Leia and there's Ahsoka, and I love them too. So it's like really hard to pick just one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's as hard as taking that bottle away from Chuck Eubanks. I mean, it's really hard to pick one.
That is very difficult.
But newest one, I mean, Grogu, he's killer. In fact, he should have his own list, because he probably would just say Mando anyways. But yeah.
Absolutely. So I wanted to talk to you guys about new Star Wars on the small screen. I know we have to wait quite a while for these new Disney shows to pop up. Obviously The Mandalorian season 3. We've got a lot of really cool shows in the pipeline. Are there any new Disney shows or any of the new Star Wars shows that you guys are really, really looking forward to? Ashley?
Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, 100%. Not just because we're getting Ian McGregor and Hayden Christensen back, and we don't really know how. It's just that time period is, we don't know a lot about what Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, we know some things, and there was that Kenobi book, but it's it's legends or non-canon. So I'm just really curious to see, I'm not sure. I think I remember hearing it was maybe 10 years after. I don't remember the exact timeline, but I feel like I've read 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So that could be totally wrong though. So, if that's not true, sorry about that. But yeah, I'm just so pumped. And I know it's not that many episodes too. I think I remember reading that it's like maybe 4 or something like that.
Yeah, it started out, I read originally when he was right after he was keeping that secret that, no, I'm not going to be Kenobi. And all of a sudden he's like, yeah, okay, I'm Kenobi. It was supposed to be 8, and then it bumped down to 6. And then they went into rewrites, and now I think it's just a mini series of 4. So we'll see. I know there was a little bit of a controversy with the fact that Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, not Anakin, Darth Vader, are going to get a rematch, which kind of will dilute that scene in Star Wars.
Yes.
But I was talking to Brad about it, and it really depends on where they take that, how far back they go. I think it could work. It can still work. That line that Vader says, "When I left you, I was but the learner," I think it can still kind of work. It just depends on where they pick it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And because it's 4 episodes, I'm really hoping that, we're going to have quality since we don't have quantity, right? That this is basically going to be like a movie spread across 4 episodes. And I looked at some of the people involved with the show, and they are involved with some really cool stuff outside of Star Wars. For instance, someone related to the show, but maybe a writer, I can't remember, was also the writer and director for Mr. Robot, which is an amazing show. So I have really high hopes based on who's involved, who they've announced anyway.
Yeah. Nicole, how about you? What shows are you looking forward to?
I'm definitely looking forward to Ahsoka, because I feel like it's going to be tied into The Mandalorian, and I think that's where we're going to see Thrawn. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Obviously Acolyte, and I'm just looking forward to them all. Bring them on. I can't wait. Bring on Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett's going to be awesome. I'm just excited for them all at this point. You can't get enough Star Wars.
I agree 100%. Yeah, all of them, but yeah.
We're not going to get Star Wars fatigue?
No such thing.
Nope. I think right now we're all starving for it in a way. I think we're all and we're getting it through obviously reading the High Republic. So right now I guess we're kind of getting it through our books. It's just that as far as TV shows go right now, we're just okay, rewatch the movies. Okay, watch The Mandalorian, which I don't mind because I'll watch it every week. But I can't wait for like the new ones, especially because again, I think some of these are going to like really intercept. So I can't wait to see how they're going to work that through. You know, I think the new Rangers is probably going to be somehow, I think we're going to see some of the characters pop up differently through the different series. So I can't wait to see how they do that.
So Charlie's got a great question that I just popped up on the screen. Do we think that that they're going to connect everything like they did with Marvel? I think, you know, I talk about it on the podcast all the time. You know, it's a big universe, obviously, and I think by definition it has to be connected. There's got to be some sort of connective tissue, and you know, we can have little stories here and there about something that has absolutely nothing to do with anything else. It's still somehow connected, and I think the fact that these stories can be built connected, I think, is what fascinates the fans. I think it's really cool for fans to kind of pick details apart and really, you know, think about it and say, oh, he mentioned Thrawn, or she did this, and there's this. I think that's what makes this all really cool. Because obviously, you know, originally we just had 3 movies and it was really great. And those 3 movies connected. And then we had 3 more movies and then 3 more. And then, you know, obviously now, you know, the mother of all media companies owns this franchise. We're going to get a lot more Star Wars, you know, in the future. So it's going to be a difficult task. But I think the connectivity of everything really is what makes it like really fun to kind of play in that sandbox as fans, I think. Cam, do you agree with this?
No, I agree. I think it's all going to be connected in some way. Like even the High Republic, we've got Yoda, and we've got a few names kind of dropped here and there, you know. And so whether it's from distance, it's just 1 or 2 names, or, you know, connections, or like we're saying with these series. I mean, they already said Ahsoka and what was the other one that they're doing I forget the name of it now, with the Rebels. What's the name of that one?
Bad Batch?
No, the live action one.
The New Republic.
Oh.
Yeah. Knights of the New Republic. Yeah. So those they've already said are going to be in the same kind of timeline as the Mandalorian. So those will branch off even more closely connected. But I think I think you have to keep it all connected somehow. But then I also saw someone mention, like, I guess Charles mentioned it, future of Star Wars in the theater or streaming. And I think in a way they are kind of going to go that Marvel route, where we're going to have these different shows that are somewhat connected, and maybe they'll take, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 of them, and then in the theater we'll kind of see something wrap up maybe, or something culminate, or something that ties in. And they might not make it necessary to watch the TV shows in order to enjoy the theater releases, but I think they are going to connect it. And I think the theater is not going anywhere either for Star Wars.
I really hope the theater doesn't go anywhere, because obviously Star Wars in the theater is a major event.
Yeah.
You know, I can't be the only one that grabs, you know, 10 of my best friends, goes out to dinner, has drinks, and then heads out to the theater, you know, wearing our X-Wing, you know, fighter pilot helmets, and then just getting our popcorn and then really enjoying that theater experience. I hope the theater doesn't die, but I know it, you know, it seems like everything is kind of morphing into streaming, which is fine and dandy, but as long as it doesn't cost, you know, our experience in the theater. What do you guys think about that? As far as Star Wars being kind of like a tentpole thing throughout the year, especially, you know, when blockbuster movies are kind of, you know, in trouble sometimes. But do you guys want Star Wars to continue to be such a popular thing in the theater with support on the small screen, or do you want that in reverse order? Ashley, what do you think?
It's really hard for me to imagine Star Wars not having that big screen experience, not just because that's how it started. And those are sort of the big, you know, events, you know, those are the things that sort of, apart from, I guess, The Mandalorian now, kind of reach outside, like our broad pop culture things. A lot of people will go see, and it does become like, there's a lot of hype, right? Every time there's a new Star Wars movie, there's like so much hype. And it's hard for me to imagine that a world where they just stopped doing that. And I really hope they don't. that being said, I'm not upset about there being a bunch of new TV shows, and I kind of understand, at the moment, with COVID and everything. Although this seems like it predates COVID, where they kind of were backing away from movies maybe a little bit, but yeah, I hope they, keep making movies, and that's because that's a lot of the magic of Star Wars right there. Is going to a movie theater, seeing all the amazing, battles and special effects, and it transports you to another place, right? Like obviously a galaxy far, far away. But yeah, we need them. I hope we have movies for sure.
And I think part of that is not just watching this film on the big screen, but I think it's the community that you go into and watch it with, even though you might not know the people behind you, but you guys are watching that. And it's part of community. I think for me anyways, that community gives me the feels, gives me half of the emotion when I'm sitting there watching it. It's a lot different when you're watching a movie at home. Obviously you're with a family, but if you're watching the movie at home, it's a different feeling.
Yeah, for sure. I want to make a quick comment just before I like other people speak about that. You just reminded me. So when I saw Rogue One, the Vader hallway scene at the end, you could feel the energy change. Like people were freaking out. It was so much more powerful than it would have been if I were, like, as you said, Rose, sitting at home watching TV. Like, obviously that's a cool scene, amazing, but just how everyone was like, whoa, didn't expect that. We're all sitting there transfixed. That the communal aspect of going to see movies is really hard to replace.
I mean, just from the Lucasfilm logo coming up and the whole theater going crazy, it's like, that doesn't happen at home, So if it did, it would be on a much smaller scale, me and the dog, but you know what I mean? So it's even just, like you're saying, the energy in a theater, like experiencing it with fans and, especially on like opening night, it's just, oh man, there's nothing like it. So I don't think it's going anywhere. I think they know that. And, even if it's, the theater scene might look different, it might be smaller theaters or not like it is now. I don't know, but I don't think the theater is going away completely. So,
I really hope so. I went to go see Phantom Menace in 1999. I went to Los Angeles and I saw it there. And obviously the first Star Wars film in a long time. We hadn't had any Star Wars anything in the 90s. And here comes the Phantom Menace. The hype was at a fevered pitch. And sitting there at the Grauman's Chinese Theater with all these people waving their lightsabers, when that Lucasfilm logo showed up, it was like we were 17, 16-year-old girls and the Beatles just popped up on stage. It was a wall of screams. It really, like I said, you don't get that at home. You don't get that energy, watching the film on the small screen. And like you said, Cam, I really hope that doesn't go away. There is a very interesting question that Bupenheim asked. But before I get to it, did I skip anybody?
Just me. But maybe Groger will just like force it through you. I have to add, because like I'm with you guys. I love seeing Star Wars big and in the movie theaters. I would love to see Ravinia, which is in Illinois. You can watch movies with orchestras. I would love to do that again. With Star Wars in particular, though, I have to make a big mention here. Drive-ins. In Illinois, we have several of them. One of my favorites is in McHenry, and they proved last summer they did it successfully. They did it with long lines, even beginning at 11 a.m. And they showed all the Star Wars movies, and it was just so good. But and some of my favorite memories are both in the drive-in and at the theaters, watching a lot of these movies and having community. And I really do hope that they don't go away. That said, though, the drive-ins, at least that I've gone to, have really proven that they can do that. They can have that same energy feel, and you can still watch it on the big screen, even outside. So that's my 2 cents. But yeah, love them.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. So Bupenheim's got a really interesting question, and it's something that I think about all the time. What would our lives be if we never had encountered Star Wars? And I definitely would be a different person because as you guys know me from my social media presence. I live, breathe, you cut me, Star Wars comes out. So it would be I would definitely be a very different person. But Nicole, let's go. Let's run backwards. Nicole, obviously, we've got other interests, but when it comes to Star Wars, it's
Right.
it's kind of like a big chunk.
Yeah, I'm with you. So this is a great question, but the reality is, I would one, I would be, well, I wouldn't know to be sad because in my brain goes, I would be so sad. But then if you look behind me, I've got like Harry Potter, Wizard of Oz. I've got so many different, like have Narnia and Lord of the Rings and stuff. I think I would just push myself into other fandoms I absolutely enjoy. But I would be kind of sad if I didn't have my Star Wars because I think Star Wars is probably one of my top favorite fandoms out of them all. So I don't know about
Absolutely.
Cam or Ashley, but it is one of my top favorite fandoms.
Yeah, for sure. Cam?
Yeah, I would probably have less pictures of grandmothers on my phone, for one. Yeah, I'd be asleep right now instead of talking with you people. No, I can't imagine it because it kind of has led because as a kid, it's just even like watching the behind the scenes stuff and the music and just the creativity behind it. Like I had one of these little black and white camcorders that used the cassette tape and, was filming, movies and like directing. We were like, doing special effects and all, and all that's because of Star Wars.
Are those the film canisters that you can only shoot 3 minutes at a time?
No, it was like that. It had batteries, but you literally put like an audio cassette, but it would record black and white video on it.
That's awesome.
And it was like you would hold it, and film. And so but I remember like all of that because of watching those behind the scenes, and my parents always would show that. And just so between that and the music, and growing up, I wanted to work for ILM, and, it was all because of Star Wars, so I think. And even now, I mean, everything I do between music or, I do goofy stuff for Star Wars, but I'm always trying to create stuff, and with teaching, try to use, but a lot of that comes from Star Wars and just how it encouraged me. So yeah, it'd probably be a lot more boring, but like Nicole said, I'd probably, gravitate towards other fandoms as well, so.
Yeah, the folks at ILM, learning the craft and learning everything that went into creating Star Wars out of nothing. That's what got me into being a camera guy, photographer, editor, et cetera, et cetera. So I have no clue what I would do if I didn't love Star Wars as much as I did growing up. Maybe I'd be like an accountant, really boring dude. But yeah, who knows? Ashley,
You would
what
be
about
boring.
you?
Oh, I've got to answer one question real quick. I'm sorry, Ashley.
Oh, no problem.
Which
Yeah.
question is that?
Adam asked a couple questions earlier because, and how dare you? Okay, you can go on.
Saw that.
Sorry about that. Sorry for Adam.
No
That was
need to
rude.
apologize.
Thanks, Adam, for the question.
It's also really hard for me to imagine what my life would be like without Star Wars. So just a couple of examples. I met one of my best friends when I was in graduate school because he was wearing a Han Solo costume in August, right? There's no reason to be dressed up, but he was wearing a Han Solo costume in a bar. So I just went up and talked to him, right? Like, why wouldn't I? Between that and all of the time I've spent immersed in this world, both by myself and with friends, particularly before grad school. So when I was in undergrad, like Revenge of the Sith came out. We were all playing Knights of the Old Republic together. It was just like, and we just spent so much time, talking and thinking about Star Wars, and it just became so, ingrained in my life. And, I can't imagine life without specifically John Williams in Star Wars. Like, I love other John Williams pieces. Like, he's just an amazing composer, but like, John Williams music in Star Wars is just like, it's imprinted like in my brain. Like I am I play keyboard like for fun, and I'm always, trying to learn. I'm learning all these songs, and I just can't imagine not having that and not having these stories and all of these experiences. So yeah, I'm like you all, I'm sure I'd fill it up with, something else. Like I also, I like Marvel, I like Lord of the Rings, I like other things, but none of them are at the level of Star Wars.
Mhm.
Megan, Ashley, I am going to recommend to you and to everyone that likes Star Wars music and movie music in general, if you have not heard of the podcast, The Soundtrack Show, check that out. Especially check out
awesome.
the examination of Star Wars music. He breaks it down so well. David W. Collins. When I first discovered it, I didn't realize that a podcast could make me cry, but this one definitely did, and I highly recommend it. And back to your comment about music, I forgot what year it was, but Star Wars in Concert did a tour around the country and a few other sites, and they were here in Chicago, and I went. There's absolutely no comparison to listening to Star Wars music with a live orchestra. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a dream right there.
Yeah, the soundtrack show is awesome. I mean, not just for Star Wars, but he's got a great way of explaining it. It's very, whether you're a musician or not, he explains it in a way that I think everybody can take something away from it, and it's awesome.
Absolutely. So we got another question from the panel, and Megan asks, "What's our favorite Star Wars memory thus far in our lives?" Wow, that's how much time do you got?
Right?
And she has a follow-up question, which we'll mention a little later on. But it's a question regarding community. So what is the most favorite thing we've gotten to do with Star Wars fan community, people we've met? And obviously, doing stuff like this for me is part of it. Forming the Scarif podcast with Brad, creating, Red 5 Network with a bunch of wonderful, wonderful people, and meeting all of you guys online and on Twitter, and just kind of chatting and geeking out. It's been really a fantastic thing. I think Todd over at WSTR had put up a post. What is the most what is the most rewarding thing you find in Star Wars? Is it the community, comics, get-togethers? And really, it's all of the above, but the community really is a big part of it, because like I said, whether you're going into a theater with strangers or talking online with 4 of your wonderful followers of your show, it's phenomenal. I'm humbled at the support that we've gotten from all of you guys all over the place, that listen to the show and that just really just interact with us, and we really, really enjoy that. What about you guys, Nicole?
Oh my gosh, I love, love, love Star Wars community. And I cannot say enough. Like, I have so many memories. It's like, yeah, we're going to be here all night. I don't have just one.
Wow.
I love Star Wars community. I mean, I even wrote an article on community because it did actually take me a long, long time to actually get there. I didn't have it at the beginning. Growing up, my family liked, they liked Star Wars, but they weren't into it like I wanted to be into it. And so it took me a long time into my adulthood until I really got into it. And even in the last few years, it's definitely gotten way better between, our community, for Discord, because I absolutely love all of them out there. And, even on Twitter, I've been able to really meet really cool people, not just here in the States, but across the pond that absolutely love Star Wars. And I like that. I love that. That's one good positive thing from Twitter that I will mention, that I've been able to meet people in the Star Wars community that love Star Wars like I do, that are looking for the positives as I am. And that's just wonderful. I can't imagine like not knowing some of the, like Martin is one of them. Hopefully he's watching. Because it's true. I mean, I would not know, known Cam, wouldn't know you if it wasn't for for those moments in Twitterverse, via Star Wars community. So there are some positives on Twitterverse there. So again, I could talk all night about community, so I won't keep, chattering on. I'll let Cam and Ashley actually get a chance, because if not, we'll be here all night.
Absolutely, yeah. And obviously, with all the wonderful, goofy things that Cam does, keeps us on our toes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Between him and Chuck
sorry.
Eubank, they keep us busy.
Oh man, I still haven't. It's like he's always gone every time I show up. So I've talked to him a few times, but haven't ever actually seen him in person, which is kind of weird. So, but yeah, the community is awesome. It's like you're saying, it's like meeting all of you guys and all the people in the chat. It's almost, you feel like you've known each other forever because you've known Star Wars forever, and so we already have this connection. But it's kind of crazy to think we could go, I could go to Australia or to England or to Chicago or to California, and pretty much anywhere we go, we've met someone that we could look up and say, hey, we're in town. Let's go, get a bite to eat or something. It's kind of cool. It's almost this network of, it's positivity, because we're excited about Star Wars, and it's also, it's a family, where we kind of can support each other, and it goes beyond Star Wars, which is what's awesome. Like those relationships where, hey, you can actually like, hey, I'm having a tough time. All right, we got you. We're thinking, praying about you, or like, what can we do? Or here's some advice. So that's awesome. As far as memories, I think probably, I can't think of one specific, but I think having kids, like my son, he's 12 now. And so we sit and talk about Star Wars and are able to actually have like deep, like philosophical, discussions on Star Wars and life and stuff. And he's seen Clone Wars and Rebels twice now, and I've only seen it once. So he almost, it's like we're able to have these deeper discussions, and that's so awesome. And then my daughter, she's 4, but like we just went to Galaxy's Edge a couple weekends ago, and we did Rise of the Resistance for the first time. And she's on there, it's like, kept looking over and like, are you scared or whatever? And she's just like, she's loving it. She's going crazy. And, she's like putting her thumbs up, when they're like, good job or whatever. And she just eats it up. She's laughing and she loves it. And it's just, so I think it's those moments, just being able to share it with my kids and knowing that they love it too. And that gives us something to bond with. And so again, it's all about family. So.
Yeah. I have to agree real quick with Cam on this. There are definitely some good family elements when it comes to Star Wars. And one of my favorite memories, now that I thought about it, although I am a Cubby girl, I have gone to Sox night for Star Wars, and I went with my daughter one time, and it was an absolute blast. One of my favorite pictures of her is her next to R2-D2 with her little heart-shaped hands, and because that was one of her favorite characters. So I love that you get the family aspect out of that too. So thank you, Cam, for jogging my memory there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I'm pretty new to the online Star Wars community. I think I made my Twitter like a little over a year ago, and part of that is because I think I was wearing out my friends in real life, like who are also Star Wars fans. Like, don't get me wrong, but just like a little more casual, I would say. And so like we talk about The Mandalorian when it would, episodes would come out, but like I wanted to keep going, right? Like I could just talk about it all night. So I was just amazed at, first of all, yes, how nice lots of people are, how open they are. And I have learned so much, whether it's from being on Twitter, from listening to podcasts, from watching YouTube videos. I just know so much more now. And I love learning these new perspectives and things I never would have thought of. And I particularly love learning from people that know a lot more than me about Star Wars. So yeah, the community is amazing. It's one of the best parts of the whole fandom for sure.
I absolutely agree. So let me remind everybody, I know we're a little over an hour into it, but we're still talking. When we get into these chats, an hour seems like a minute, and it's because we're just, we're talking, we're chatting, we're really enjoying each other's company. But guys in the chat, thank you very much. If you guys have any questions, kind of go ahead and put them in there, and I'll pop them up on screen. Yeah, it's been a fantastic ride. We started the Scarif podcast 2 years ago, and Brad and I, we're going strong. We're really enjoying interacting with a lot of you people. So it's really fantastic. A lot of you friends, not a lot of you people. It sounded kind of weird. But talking about community, who's been to a Star Wars celebration or convention? Raise your hand. No? All right.
No.
So
It's a goal.
it's a goal, and I know this year we were supposed to have a Star Wars celebration in Anaheim, and they kind of announced the fact that they were pushing it back, till next year because of the wonderful virus we know as COVID, the COVID virus, unfortunately. But each year we have had an event locally here in Chicago called Scarif Con, and we started it in 2019. We just got together, and obviously, being in Chicago, it's kind of like the Coruscant of podcasting, I guess, because we've got WSTR, Galactic Public Access, another Red Fiver. We've got he's not in Chicago, but Jedi Temple Archives, Rob. So we've got a nice little collection of podcasters that are from Chicago. And in 2019, we did an event at a local comic book store, which I'm very, very proud of. And we've had it every year. And this year, I'm just going to pop through. Did I do this already? Why didn't it change here? Anyways, interesting. Am I sharing the correct screen? No, I'm not. Anyways, we did the reason we did this takeover is that we took this little guy and paraded him all over Chicago, and it was a lot of fun. We had kind of a little contest to see if you guys can, pay attention to our little Star Wars shenanigans. And speaking of shenanigans, look who's back. Did we wake you, Chuck?
Oi. Can we make him do the truffle shuffle since he's, Chucky? Oh, I mean Chuck Eubanks. Oh, sorry, that wrong fandom.
I don't know, but if we can make him dance, I still think that would be hilarious.
I mean, he could kick off this fun the countdown to Scarif Con.
There you go.
He can dance a little bit there.
It might be a good thing that he's muted.
Probably.
Very much so.
I wonder if Chuck Eubanks can mime. Probably not.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry, guys.
Did we wake you?
What did I miss? Okay.
No one can tell him about
and
the Scarif.
L2-3PO.
He's still talking about shipping droids.
And they would make the best friends of all. I'm out of whiskey, y'all.
That is really sad, Chuck.
Yeah.
I mean, you are really sad, Chuck.
It is sad. So what was the question?
We're just talking about Star Wars community and conventions and Star Wars celebration that's not happening this year, but what is happening this year in Chicago, in the Andersonville neighborhood here in town, a comic shop called Alley Cat Comics. We are hosting once again the third annual Alley Cat, yeah, baby. ScarifCon 2021. I can't believe it, man. We started that in 2019. We had the 501st show up, and we did a podcast with the Salty Nerd. He flew in from Vegas. We also had Yoshi Vu. He flew in from Singapore. He had just finished working on The Rise of Skywalker special effects and The Mandalorian. So we had him, good friend of the podcast, and we had a really great time. We did it again last year, and we brought in Dominic Pace. He was doing his tour around the country, and it was really great. And I think he's going to do that again. ScarifCon 2021. Absolutely. You've hit you've hit the bottom of your bottle there.
Agreed, Trevor Beast. It's definitely going to be rocking. It's going to be a party.
Party!
Chuck, you might actually enjoy pizza and adult beverages here in Chicago.
I'll be there. Count on me. I'm the greatest show host ever of all time. D. Chuck your legs. You know it.
I think in the next coming weeks, we'll probably have a special show and talk a little bit about ScarifCon.
Anytime.
And we'll invite Chuck Eubanks back to burp in our
Right
ears.
Eat it. Oh, oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. It's funny when Chuck Eubanks first followed me. I think I went into the DM in everybody's accounts, and I'm like, who is this Chuck Eubanks guy?
He's something, all right.
He definitely
D.
is.
Chuck your legs.
Chuck is killing me too, Megan. I agree.
Uh-huh. So is there any big news of anybody who's coming this year to ScarifCon? Just curiosity, because, you know, I might know a few people whose birthdays is near. Just saying.
Well,
and a few in the chats, too, who are watching.
There are plenty of rumors of folks that are going to join us. And if these rumors are true, it definitely is going to, like Trevor said, it's going to be rocking. And I can't wait. It's hopefully we'll be kind of a little farther up the scale here when it comes to COVID, but either way we're all safe and having fun. Last year we obviously got all together. They have a really great outdoor patio, and it's a lot of fun. I can't wait. Each year it's a little bigger. Each year is a little more fun. This year is going to be fantastic. I think Dominic Pace is going to be kind of coming through Chicago at that time, and we're really going to be promoting the hell out of it and just having a lot of fun with that.
Awesome. Hey, Cam, because I know you missed it. Things happen.
Sorry, we had chili tonight. Sorry. I'm going to try. Well, I can't make any promises. I would love to make it. So I know we're doing a vacation at some point in the summer, and so I don't know how it'll work out timing wise yet. But if there's any way I can make it, I'm going to be there. So
awesome.
We will roll out the red carpet for you, the red 5 carpet for you.
Oh,
yeah, that reminds me.
When you come to visit?
I think I'm gonna. I don't know. I feel kind of bad. I think I'm gonna give up the Scamuff Skittlebutt podcast name. Ro, I think I owe you an apology, and Brad. I'm I think it's just a little close to your name. Once I started thinking about it, I can see where, there's just it's pretty close. So, so I think I'm going to go ahead and go back to just doing other stuff. And I'm actually, I was going to announce tomorrow the Ray 5 network. Oh, and I had a bunch of podcasters lined up, but they were actually all just me. So I'm going to cancel that too. So anyway, I just want to apologize for any mayhem I may have caused. And so,
Yeah.
and the office
Quite
of the former
adventurous.
emperor did demand it. So I kind of have to do what he says.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I feel like we should give you some Skittles or something. I'm just so proud of you, making
Thanks,
good
thanks.
decisions.
I think it's just
Yay,
a lot of good vibes
salty
tonight, and I feel a little, feel bad
Guilty.
for Ro and
Guilty.
Brad, how much my podcast has been taken off this week, and theirs just kind of, been suffering because of it. So I'm going to back down and let them kind of step back into the spotlight. So
I think we lost 12 followers and you gained 12 followers. So I don't know what that's all about.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I also created 12 accounts. So in this week, I don't think it's related, but yeah.
No, obviously not.
That's fantastic. So, Ashley, Nicole, Cam, again, thank you very much for joining us on this wonderful edition of Scarif Live, our little takeover event. And everyone in the chat, before we leave, I just want to ask you guys, did you guys have a good time? No?
No, are you asking us or the chat? I was waiting for, waiting for.
Wow.
Yes,
We'll
yes,
never do this
so
again.
much. This is like the worst hour in like 24 minutes of my life. No, it was great. Like I had a lot of fun. And thank you so much for inviting me. And it's great to talk with all of you and read the lovely chat comments. And this was a blast.
Yep. I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. And sorry Adam was in the chat tonight, but hey, that's like, other than that, it was pretty good. So
You have to remember, we can't control other people's behaviors, but we can control our own. Cam.
that's true. So I had a great time. So appreciate it.
And we got some wise advice right there at the tip. And we can't control ourselves. We can only control ourselves, not others. But yes, thank you so very much, Ro and Brad, for inviting us on the takeover. This was an enjoyment. It was definitely lots of fun. Thank you to everybody in the chat room that has come, including Adam. For coming
Okay,
on.
fine. Adam too. He's pretty good.
And thank you to everybody. And I hope I get to meet a lot of you guys at ScarifCon because I'm looking forward to it. So
Excellent. And we are looking forward to meeting you. And if you guys are watching, anybody in the chat wants to head over to ScarifCon as the time gets closer. The event happens July 10th in Chicago. We will be having a whole bunch of episodes. We'll talk about it. We'll post. And again, like I said, hit us up on the socials, wherever you guys find your other favorite Star Wars podcast. And as always, on the Red 5 Network. We really enjoyed talking with all of you guys, everybody in the chat, everybody online, on Twitter, on our social media. It's what this is all about. We're a big family, as dysfunctional sometimes as we all sometimes find ourselves to be. But at the end of the day, Star Wars makes us family. So that's my story. Thank you guys. May the Force be with you. And that's the Scuttlebutt.